Hey everyone, welcome back to Space Fact Fusion. Today, we're asking one of the most important questions of all time. Could we survive a zombie apocalypse? Yeah, I know it sounds like something straight out of a movie, but believe it or not, some scientists have actually looked into this. So let's break it down. How likely is it? What would we do? And most importantly, could we make it out alive? Stay tuned to find out. First things first, what are zombies exactly? Are they just a figment of our imagination, a product of Hollywood's creative minds? Or is there something more to the story? Are they just a Hollywood invention, or is there a real-world basis for the idea of a zombie outbreak? The concept of zombies has fascinated us for decades, appearing in countless movies, TV shows, and books. But where did this idea originate? Turns out, nature already has some zombie-like creatures. In the animal kingdom, there are several examples of organisms that exhibit zombie-like behavior due to parasitic infections. Ever heard of the Ophiocordyceps fungus? This fascinating fungus infects ants and takes control of their brains, turning them into mindless creatures that help spread the fungus. The infected ants climb to high points and clamp down, allowing the fungus to grow and release spores. Creepy, right? It's a chilling example of how a simple organism can completely alter the behavior of its host. But what about humans? Could something like this ever happen to us? While there's no fungus that controls humans yet, there are diseases that affect the brain, like rabies. Rabies is a viral disease that causes inflammation of the brain in humans and other mammals. It can lead to violent behavior, hallucinations, and even death if not treated promptly. In a way, these illnesses alter behavior, and if you mixed something like rabies with a fast-spreading virus, you might have a recipe for something zombie-like. Imagine a virus that spreads as quickly as the flu but has the mind-altering effects of rabies. It's a terrifying thought, isn't it? Some scientists have even speculated that a mutated rabies virus could, theoretically, cause symptoms that resemble zombie behavior. This idea has been explored in various scientific discussions and even in some speculative fiction. But let's not panic just yet. While the idea of a zombie apocalypse is intriguing and makes for great entertainment, the likelihood of such an event occurring is extremely low. Advances in medical science and our understanding of viruses and diseases help us stay prepared and protected. Okay, so let's say a zombie apocalypse does break out. The world as we know it has changed overnight, and survival is now the name of the game. What would it take to survive in such a chaotic and dangerous environment? Let's go through the essential steps you'd need to take to ensure your survival. First off, shelter is key. Finding a safe place to stay is your top priority. You'll need somewhere that's secure and zombie-proof. This means fortifying doors and windows to prevent any unwanted visitors. Preferably, you'd want to be in a high place with a limited number of entry points, think rooftop or a well-fortified building. This minimizes the risk of surprise attacks. Next, supplies. You'll need food, water, and medical supplies. Stocking up on non-perishable items is crucial. The average person could survive about 3 weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. So, securing a reliable water source is essential. So keep that in mind. Always have a plan for where your next meal and drink will come from. Fun fact, according to some survivalists, you'd need about 1 gallon of water per person per day to stay alive. This includes drinking, cooking, and basic hygiene. What about defense? You'll need some way to protect yourself from both zombies and potentially hostile humans. Movies often show guns and melee weapons, but in reality, melee weapons like baseball bats or crowbars could be more reliable than a gun, which needs ammo and proper aim. Plus, they're quieter, which is a huge advantage. Surviving alone isn't a great idea. The strength of a group can't be underestimated. In every zombie movie, it's the groups that work together that stand the best chance. Teamwork can make all the difference. You'd need to team up with people who have skills, like someone who can cook, a doctor, and maybe even a mechanic to fix things when society collapses. Each person's skills can contribute to the group's overall survival. A mechanic can be invaluable for fixing vehicles and equipment, which can be crucial for mobility and repairs. Quick question. If you had to choose one person to be in your survival group, who would it be and why? Think about the skills and qualities that would be most beneficial. Comment below. I'm really curious to see your answers. Your choice could spark some interesting discussions and maybe even give others some ideas. Section 3. What are the odds? Now let's talk about the hard truth. The reality of a zombie apocalypse is something that has fascinated and terrified people for decades. But what are the actual odds of surviving such a catastrophic event? What are your actual chances of surviving a zombie apocalypse? The odds are not in your favor, but let's break it down. In most zombie outbreak scenarios, the virus spreads rapidly through bites. This means that once an outbreak starts, it can escalate quickly, turning a small incident into a full-blown crisis in a matter of days. That means if you're in a densely populated city, your chances of getting infected early on are pretty high. Cities are hubs of human activity, making them prime targets for rapid virus transmission. Rural areas, however, could offer better survival odds. Fewer people means fewer zombies. The isolation and lower population density can act as a natural barrier against the spread of the infection. Would governments be able to help? Theoretically, yes. Governments have plans in place for various types of emergencies, including pandemics and biological threats. In theory, governments would deploy military forces, impose quarantines, and maybe even develop a vaccine if the outbreak was viral. These measures could help contain the spread and protect uninfected populations. But as we've seen with pandemics, the response time might not be fast enough to stop the initial wave. The chaos and panic that ensue can overwhelm even the most prepared systems. And what about long-term survival? Surviving the initial outbreak is just the first hurdle. The real challenge lies in sustaining life in a world that has been turned upside down. If the outbreak went global, surviving the first few weeks would just be the beginning. You'd need to find a way to secure food, water, and shelter while avoiding infected zones. After that, you'd need to figure out how to rebuild society, secure more resources, and avoid future infections. Communities would have to come together to create new systems of governance, trade, and defense. Did you know there's actually a mathematical model called the SIR model that scientists use to predict how diseases spread? And yes, some have applied it to zombie outbreaks. This model helps in understanding the dynamics of infection and can provide insights into how to control and eventually eradicate the virus. So, while the odds might seem daunting, knowledge, preparation, and community effort can significantly improve your chances of survival. Remember, in the face of a zombie apocalypse, staying informed and ready is your best defense. So, could we survive a zombie apocalypse? Well, it wouldn't be easy, but with the right preparation, strategy, and a bit of luck, some of us just might make it. But until then, maybe let's just enjoy our zombie movies and hope we never have to find out for real. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and be sure to subscribe for more fun takes on science and survival. And hey, what's your go-to zombie weapon? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you there.